What if the speed of light was 30 miles an hour?
What if Earth had 2 suns?
Which cereal mascot would win in a fight?
What if everyone lived underground?
What if it
What
rained
if money grew on
What
trees?
if pigs could fly?
I don't know if that would actually happen.
It's much easier to store a unicycle than to store a horse.
Hello everybody and welcome to Absurd Hypotheticals, the show where we overthink dumb questions so you don't have to. I'm your host Marcus Lehner, and I'm joined here today by Chris Yee and Ben Storms. Say hi guys.
Hey, I'm Chris.
Hey, I'm Ben.
You guys ready to duke it out in another fight episode?
Yes.
Okay. The excitement is palpable.
Yeah.
I love how much it sounds like that yes was cut out from a different episode and inserted by Chris, but no, that was me saying yes in a really weird way, I promise.
Yeah, real life got actual silence and Chris is grabbing yeses frantically from past episodes to throw them in here.
Yes.
But, right, so every once in a while on the podcast, we will do a fight. The way we do these is we each will pick a fighter. We will kind of explain a little bit about our fighters, introduce them, say why they might be good or bad in the fight. Then we discuss, kind of assign odds for different scenarios of how these fights might go, and then take all that together and spin the wheel of final determination to determine the ultimate winner. The one we have this week is slightly different because the characters that we are picking as our fighters are not actually going to be the ones fighting. We've each selected a famous mentor from a movie, and rather than have the mentors fight themselves, because that's not what mentors do, they're all going to train up a kind of generic hero that will be the ones actually fighting. We've decided that our mentees will just be quote-unquote normal human adult male, with no special characteristics.
Should we assign names to avoid confusion later on when we're actually talking about the fight?
We probably should.
I guess we can decide what the names are after we say who our mentors are.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm gonna relate the name to the mentor so it's easier to remember. I don't know. We'll figure it out live.
Yep.
Anyway,
We planned this.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and get started so you guys have some time to come up with some names for your mentee. So who I have chosen to go in with is Obi Wan Kenobi from the Star Wars movies. Have you guys seen those? They're pretty good.
Yes.
Obi Wan Kenobi. Yeah.
Yes.
Obi-Wan Kenobi is a Jedi master. Basically, he's a human dude with magical space powers that allow him to tap into the, life force of the universe via a poorly explained biological midichlorian process, and then use that space power to, push things around, jump real good, mind trick people, lots of little things that he can do with that. He was born a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. In the movies, he trained up 2 characters. He trained up Anakin Skywalker, which worked out great. He turned into Darth Vader. And Luke Skywalker, who turned out, I guess, better by the end of it. Background, he doesn't actually have that much background. He was born on the planet Stewjon. And if that sounds like a dumb planet name, then get ready for it to get way dumber. So the way the Jedi work is that, in the time when Obi-Wan was young, the Jedi would just go around, and if they found Force-sensitive children, they would just kidnap them and bring them to the Jedi Temple to raise them, so they don't really remember their homeworlds. So Obi-Wan's home planet was never mentioned or established until George Lucas, in 2010, which is after the first 6 movies came out, was asked on stage at an annual Star Wars Celebration thing where Obi-Wan was born. And he came up with the name Stewjon because the host asking the question was Jon Stewart.
Wow.
And now that's canon.
And now it is canon in 20 different official Star Wars things. So now anything that has biological info on characters and it asks where Obi-Wan Kenobi was born, it's Stewjon. There's they introduce a side character in some off thing, born on Stewjon. So it is now an official Star Wars planet because George Lucas was on stage and was like, this is my thing. I can do whatever I want and it doesn't matter if it's good or not.
Star Wars fans can be interesting sometimes.
George Lucas that's not fans. That's literally George Lucas.
My favorite thing like that is that technically E.T.'s species is canonically in the Star Wars universe because they slipped one into one of the scenes in one of the prequel movies, and now they've all Wikipedia and stuff have put them in there because they're technically in the scene, so they must exist in the universe.
Oh man, fandoms are incredible beasts. So Obi-Wan Kenobi, pretty generic as far as mentors go. He's very much the, patient and wise and straight-laced dude who's trying to teach you how to do things all the right ways. Kind of some specific advantages that Obi Wan Kenobi has. Mad lightsaber skills. It's usually like, Jedi are generally fast and agile on things, but, Obi-Wan is often noted as being particularly good with lightsabers. Given that our fight is kind of happening in the present, he is from the quote-unquote, I'm gonna say from the future, even though it's from the past, but from the, an advanced civilization. And he's quite learned in general, so he might have some additional knowledge, just base knowledge from being in a spacefaring civilization. He's very patient. He deals with Anakin's bullshit all the time. Compensate with just some witty sarcasm, and then that seems to work for him. He does have his force powers. I think the Jedi mind trick could be used as a good motivational tool during training. Oh, you don't feel like training? Well, maybe you do feel like training. This is the training you're looking for.
That implies that your hero is weak-willed.
Yeah, he might be. Generic man might be weak-willed. Or it's moments of weak will. That's what you have to get through. It's the moments of weak will. When he's looking at the McDonald's across the way and he's like, I need to punish my body for this training, and you're like, no, eat a salad. And do more push-ups. He can do force healing, so if he ever, he can go to some pretty intense training and then use his force powers to heal up any damage that may have been done to that person's body, or just maybe, just for recovery purposes, stuff like that. And then he's also got some, I'm gonna say, tactical knowledge advantages. So in, the Clone Wars era of Star Wars, he was a high Jedi general. And basically he was commanding officer of the Open Circle Fleet, the 3rd Systems Army, the 7th Sky Corps. So he was basically just a big general in charge of a lot of armies and things. So I'm sure there's some overlap knowledge there of tactics, and also just kind of of general training protocols and stuff like that, just from that military type background. So that's kind of the good stuff. Bad stuff that probably won't work so much in his favor. He didn't really do a great job of training his actual apprentices. Anakin Skywalker turned into literally the thing that he was trying to have him not turn into, which is an evil Sith Lord. So that was his first apprentice that he spent a lot of time on. And then for Luke, he really spent an actual literal 2 days training before he dies. So Luke turned out gooder than Darth Vader, but also
more because of Yoda.
Yeah, well, Yoda, so basically Luke got trained by Obi-Wan for 2 days, and then trained by Yoda for 2 weeks, and then that's it. That's all the training he got. So good on Luke for getting through that. That's like learning it out of the textbook in college. Your teacher's not really there helping you out. You just kind of have to learn it on your own as you go through. So I can't say, despite his advantages, his track record is not excellent. I imagine he'll also be teaching kind of the Jedi Code, which I'll recite very quickly now because it's short. So it's, there is no emotion, there is peace. There is no ignorance, there is knowledge. There is no passion, there is serenity. There is no chaos, there is harmony. There is no death, there is the Force. So kind of the teaching tenets that he's going to be harping on is there's no emotion, no passion, no chaos, and no death, which kind of is limiting in a fighting environment. Even Yoda is saying, a Jedi uses the Force for knowledge and defense, never for attack. So, even though if you watch the Star Wars movies, these rules are not hard, fast rules because, Jedi do a lot of beating up of bad guys. But I think Obi-Wan will spend, a lot of his training time talking all the stuff about when and how to use, the fighting skills that he's passing on to his hero, instead of actually teaching you more fighting skills, because, in his world, when you teach somebody, they become, a magical space god, and, he's going to be training, a dude instead, who probably doesn't have to worry too much about, absolute moral superiority when he's just going through life doing his own things.
Yeah, he never trains not a Jedi in the movies.
Yeah, like I said, there's the whole military part of it, but I'm not sure how much he does, I'm not sure if he does any, training in that capacity. So, really, I think, big picture-wise, he's got some advantages, just on the being able to use his Force powers to accelerate training through the mind tricks, and the Force healing would be great. He's got a lot of knowledge. He has everything he needs to train well. But he might shoot himself in the foot by either training someone who was too morally good to, actually fight something without having a whole bunch of moral dilemmas, or it could end up like Anakin, where he builds someone that on the surface looks like that for the first 5 minutes, and then actually is a barely restrained maniac with some emotional problems. And Yeah, so really, dude, probably gonna be. I figure he'll be good with a sword. I'm gonna give my guy like a sword because that's the lightsaber equivalent in real life. And then I won't deny my guy if we get into conventional weapons because again, Obi-Wan does know how to use a blaster. So if it ever comes to that, there's that knowledge is in there.
We should also acknowledge that the Obi Wan Kenobi show, like the finale, is about to happen when this episode airs. But for us, we're recording this before it's even started, so there might be material in there that you missed.
Yeah, that's a good thing to acknowledge. We've timed this episode perfectly where the Obi-Wan show might be all everyone's talking about because the finale is about to come out in 3 days after this airs.
2 days.
Or 2 days. But the show has yet to exist in the world yet. We're like 4 days before the actual episode 1 and 2 drop, which I'm very excited for. I'm very excited to see Ewan McGregor, reprise his role because, like, the witty sarcasm. Obi-Wan is actually one of my favorite like fictional characters because I love his just baseline. Frustrated dad full of sarcasm is a great vibe.
I mean, who knows? Maybe he does train a non-Jedi in the show. We don't know.
It could happen. But yes, if we miss anything, don't blame us. Blame time. It's time's fault.
Look, this episode was recorded a long time ago.
In a galaxy.
In a galaxy very, 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 very close on an astronomical scale.
Yeah.
Oh, and I gotta name my guy. I gotta name my mentee.
Oh, right. I forgot we were doing that already.
Since it's not a title in our world, I'm gonna just name mine one Padawan Kenobi.
Okay, there we go.
Padawan Kenobi is ready to go. Chris, who's your mentor?
So my mentor is Morpheus from The Matrix, or the 3 Matrix, or the 4. No, he wasn't in the 4th. The 3 Matrix movies. And I especially looked at the first one because that's like the one where he does most of his mentoring of the main character, which is Neo, who is the one. So Neo, in the beginning of the movie, starts out sort of basically just a normal guy in like a boring office job. And then by the end of it, after he goes through all of his training, he can like stop bullets, he can fly, he's the one. So he's like a special person. But our fighter is not the one. Our fighter is just a normal person who cannot, like, none of the Matrix rules apply to him. So, like, how do Morpheus's lessons, like, what would that do to him? Now, there are a lot of scenes of Morpheus just, like, explaining what the Matrix is. That's, like, a majority of Morpheus's scenes. But there are 3 main scenes that show Morpheus, like, actually teaching things to Neo. The first one is the scene with the woman in the red dress. So they're like walking through a crowd of a bunch of people wearing black and white and stuff. And then Neo notices a woman in a red dress. He like gets distracted by her. And then Morpheus tells Neo to look at the woman again. And it's an agent who is pointing a gun at him. And the lesson is basically not to trust anyone because anyone could be an agent. So that's lesson number 1 is don't trust anyone, basically. He also, or the next scene where he teaches lessons is the dojo fight. So he doesn't actually train how to fight because that knowledge is kind of just like uploaded to Neo's brain. But he does fight him. And during that fight, he sort of teaches like you can break the rules or bend the rules of the Matrix to your advantage. He says things like, stop trying to hit me and hit me. Don't think you are, know you are, stuff like that. So he's kind of like drilling in the message that like if you can like sort of will yourself into being strong and fast without actually having to like do anything with your muscles. Like,
yeah, like do or do not. There is no try.
Yeah. Only yours isn't Yoda. So yeah. So yeah, I guess the lesson there is you don't necessarily have to like work on your muscles and stuff assuming that the Matrix is a thing, but in our case it's not, so that maybe that might not be a great lesson. And then the third scene is the building jump scene where he like jumps from one skyscraper roof to another skyscraper roof. He says let go of fear, doubt, and disbelief, free your mind, and then he jumps. And that's basically, I guess, teaching the same lesson where like if you believe you can, then you can. And I guess like the overall like summary of what Morpheus teaches is like you go against the system, like authority. You don't have to listen to authority because that's like basically what the Matrix is. Breaking rules can make you stronger and faster. So like cheating is good, basically. You don't have to follow the rules. If you believe you are, then you are. So anything, if you're overconfident, then it'll help, I guess. And he is very much pro guns. They use lots of guns in the Matrix. And I assume that he can teach some gun skills. He can probably teach some hand-to-hand skills too. He didn't actually do it in the movie, but I'm sure he can do a little bit. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And in the Matrix, all these lessons really help Neo to like unlock his oneness. In real life, for like a real normal person, maybe some of these are a detriment. We'll see. And I guess I have to name my guy. So my guy is not the 1, he is the 2.
The 2?
All right. The 2.
The 2.
Nailed it.
Ben, who did you have?
So I went with Phil from Hercules.
usually you spend like 3 minutes explaining why you picked the thing that you did without so you don't have to try to accept like responsibility for it. But no, you're just, this one's fine.
Yeah.
Or there's no justification.
There's no justification. Phil is a satyr, which is a little half goat, half man, who trains Hercules. His full name is Philoctetes. He had previously trained Jason, Odysseus, Perseus, Theseus, and Achilles, who were all, in my opinion, very successful Greek heroes, but all of them did fail, so he retired, and only actually agreed to train Hercules after Zeus strikes him with a bolt of lightning, and that convinces him. Fun fact, Philoctetes was actually a Greek hero in like Greek mythology, who was vaguely related to Heracles. He was an archer, and he participated in the Trojan War. He was one of the men who fought for the hand of, why did I not put her name here? Helen, got there. But his relation to Heracles actually was Heracles built his own funeral pyre and then needed someone to light it. And Philoctetes, God, that name is awful, was the only one who would light it, which once it was lit and Heracles was deified, that gained him his favor, and he was granted Heracles' bow and poisoned arrows. But obviously that's not his story in the movie, the Disney movie.
Yeah, not quite.
So yeah, he just trains him. Conveniently, Phil has, and I'm going to call him Phil from now on because I cannot be bothered to say Philoctetes over and over. Philoctetes. Phil has rules to being a hero, 101 of them, in fact.
All right, let's strap in, everybody.
I am not going to read off all of those because that is a very long list to read through.
Did they flesh out all 101 of them?
I have the list of all 101. I don't know how much. I know some number are directly from the movie. I would assume that some are probably from like some, Disney picture book or something. Who knows? But I did have the full list, and I went through and picked out a bunch of relevant ones in both good and bad ways. I'm going to assume that Phil's mentee listens to him very literally, partially because there are 2 rules that I think will sort of, assuming he follows them, really driving the fact that he should, which is rule number 4, your trainer is always right, and rule number 97, a hero is just a regular guy with a right coach. So I think between those 2, this mentee is going to just, follow exactly what he says. So let's go with the good rules first, which these we'll go through pretty quickly. Number 10.
All right. I just assumed because there's only like 3 good ones.
No, it's mostly because they're kind of just general purpose, like good in a fight, but also there aren't that many of them. Yeah. So number 10, watch your footwork. Number 16, don't turn your back on your foe. Number 18, learn from your mistakes. Number 24, don't get cocky. Number 28, keep your guard up. Number 30, analyze the situation. Number 61, the greater your agility, the greater your ability, which I guess just means he'll be really agile. Sort of in tandem, number 82, you gotta stay focused, and number 95, concentrate, ! And number 96, aim, ! So kind of just good general purpose, be pretty good at keeping an eye on your opponent, don't get overconfident, keep your guard up.
You can tell this is a real list made by a real satyr because it's like the first 30 are pretty good. Like, there's a really high hit rate in the first 30, and then there's like gaps of 30 to 20 between all the rest of the good ones going through. So they wrote 30 good rules, but felt like they needed to have 101 for the book.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I did like one of the ones that I didn't think would come up, but it is pretty great, is number 29, beware of Greeks bearing gifts. But I don't think that's going to be relevant here. Then there are some bad rules in terms of like definitely trying 100% to win a fight, which are 32, never hit a man when he's down, and number 67, play by the rules. Just kind of fight fairly, which, I mean, yeah, that's good and all, but also if you definitely want to win, maybe don't commit to that. I will say they're both kind of contradicted by rule number 90, which is nice guys finish last. So kind of a little, dissonance there, but figure there's two of the play by the rules ones and just the one nice guys finish last.
It's the strongest alignment is lawful evil.
Exactly. Then we have some bad rules in terms of like being in a fight when taken perfectly literally. One is number 19, keep circling, which I understand means in general, like, sort of stay on your feet. But if you're always going to keep circling, that's, A, kind of predictable, and B, doesn't seem necessarily very effective at all times. Number 51 is act, don't react, which I guess act on its own is good, but don't react is a pretty bad thing. So gonna be kind of, despite the whole analyze the situation and whatnot, there's not gonna be much in the way of terms of like reaction to what is being done to him, more just kind of acting, I guess. Yeah. And then finally, in terms of avoiding predictability, number 54, lead with your left. I feel like if you always do that, it's going to kind of become a little predictable. But he's going to, because that is rule 54. Lead with your left.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much advantage I'm going to get by, noticing and then be like, oh man, that guy always leads with his left foot. Now I'm really going to stab him.
Yeah. Then we get to what I'm going to call the interesting rules, that they're just kind of maybe add some complication to things. Even more so than the keep circling and lead with your left will. One is sort of the tandem of 37 and 53. Don't start anything you can't finish, and never do anything halfway. So if he starts something, he's gonna finish it, which I guess could be good, but also could be bad. On the sort of just confusing one that I don't even know why this would have come up, number 38 is no knot unties itself, which isn't directly saying untie any knots you see, but also is maybe implying that?
It's like a fortune cookie.
It's a very fortune cookie, yeah.
It's very fortune cookie. It's more a fact. It's not a lesson. It's not an advice. It's just a fact about knots.
It is a fact about knots. That is true. So maybe we're fine in terms of like, he's not going to see a shoe and like go OCD on it.
He's not going to expect it to untie itself.
Yeah. So I guess maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. Or just a thing. It's a neutral thing.
Look, we just have to remember that if ever comes up, they do understand knots.
Yes, yeah.
And the state that they will stay in the state that they are in.
Or yours does, not necessarily ours.
It's not
that
a given
in
for
our
yours.
lesson.
Yeah. Number 39 is duck! ! Could be good if something is coming you should duck under, but also I don't know if he's going to just stay ducked at all times. It's a pretty blanket statement, just duck. So he might just be kind of low in general. One that I guess could also just be a statement of fact, but also feels more like an imperative than no knot unties itself. That also, once again, I don't think would come up, but if it does, could be problematic. Number 45, sheep get sheared.
See, now that's also in the, is it a fact or a command?
That one feels more like a command to me. That
Okay.
Like, if he sees a sheep, I mean, sheep get sheared, you know how it is. And then definitely, I think, in terms of a command, number 84, you can't be a hero on an empty stomach. So he's going to need some food. Importantly, alongside that one is number 73, a hero is more than a sandwich. So he's going to be getting a side, too.
He's going to have to spend some money on this meal.
Yeah. One that could get a little complicated if this fight goes for any extended amount of time. Number 87, never let him see you sweat. So if he starts exerting himself, he might have to like run away and towel off a little bit. So that could be kind of awkward.
Well, I mean, all that low circling is gonna work up a sweat pretty quick. So he just has to expand his circle out to the shops so he can wipe off his sweat.
I'm gonna hope he can like grab a towel from somewhere or something, or maybe at least some napkins from the hot dog guy. I don't know. And then number 98. This one is also kind of complicated. Be fast or be last. So it kind of sounds like either finish this quickly or lose. So I don't know. Because that could also be guidance, but also, if it's taken completely literally, you have two options, which are be fast or be last.
So it's impossible for your guy to come in second in this fight.
That's kind of what I was thinking, yeah.
That's going to make my spreadsheet so complicated. I don't know how to remove coming in second.
Yeah, so have fun with that one. There is also, in that note as well, Rule 33, second place is the first loser, which is also, I guess, just a statement of fact, but...
I mean, also true for fights in general. That's good. It
is true. And then, of course, there is the most important rule of all of these rules for these purposes, which you might think is me being just kind of like, oh, cheeky, and it's Rule 101, the last one, go the distance. Oh, that's the line from the movie. But no, it's Rule 60, carry a big sword. So he will have a big sword.
That's a useful one. So both of you have swords.
We do. So yeah, that is a subset of Phil's list for heroes, or rules for heroes. I've decided I went to a Greek mythology name generator, and the first one that came up was Daemon, which apparently means one who tames, which isn't quite right. It's kind of the other way around, but it's close enough. So Daemon it is.
So we have Padawan Kenobi, the 2.
I'm actually going to change mine because Neo is an anagram of the 1. So my guy's name is Toe.
Toe.
Toe. Got it. Padawan Kenobi, Toe, and Daemon. Man, we should have come up with these ahead of time.
We should have. Not gonna lie, I would have done exactly the same thing.
Oh boy. All right. So I think we can use our typical locale. We like to have these fights in Central Park in New York City. That is where we're going to be meeting up, and our heroes will be facing up each other. Are our mentors going to be there on the sidelines watching, or is this like
no?
I was going to say no, but I would go either way.
I guess it doesn't really matter, but I imagine them like on the sidelines, just like cheering them on.
That's fair. Yeah, I'm good with that actually. But no interference.
Yeah, they don't help with the fight at all.
Yeah, mostly because that really outclasses me in terms of Phil versus Obi Wan Kenobi and Morpheus.
I imagine it like a boxing match. Like they're on the sidelines and they can yell things.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, do we do it in rounds where we get a little? Well, I don't know if we're gonna. I don't know how long this fight's gonna be because let's say the mentors are there just in case it becomes interesting. The question I want to tackle right away, first off, is... Does
Toe have a gun?
Yeah!
I feel like he would.
Does Phil... And I'm going to leave this to... Because I'm going to leave this to Ben's interpretation. Phil, having spent some amount of time training a hero in the modern world, does he understand and embrace guns? Or is he like, no, I'm gonna form strong opinions about that guns are terrible, and here's a good old-fashioned like bow and arrow instead?
I mean, the only thing related to range combat in these rules, where to go? I have the list of rules up here. I didn't pull this one down because I didn't know they would come up.
I mean, Hercules uses bows and arrows, right?
He does use bows and arrows. Oh yeah. Keep both eyes open when you shoot, you'll see twice as well. That is Rule 64. Although, in terms of him embracing weapons, Rule 66 is it's either education or elimination. So it does suggest that he might seek out new technology.
Yeah, I'm kind of torn because he's definitely like a bit stuck in his ways. Like he definitely lives in the past, at least the start of the movie. He kind of comes out of his shell a little bit. But yeah, I feel like he would just be like, oh, this is great.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say that the size of the gun he could carry be limited by the size of the large sword, because it does say a big sword.
Yeah, Daemon is not actually Hercules.
Right, yeah. Rule 15 is a hero is only as good as his weapons. So I'm going to say that, yes, he may have a gun.
I feel like Phil would be the type of person to embrace anything that makes things easy.
He does. Rule 8 is if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. So I don't know if that's true.
Never mind then.
Although everyone in America does have guns. So could go either way.
Yeah, the guns is a big question.
So gun skill levels, I'm guessing Morpheus, or Toe, sorry. I guess Toe would probably be the most concentrated on that. Like, get the most gun training, I think, by, a decent margin.
Yeah. But I also think that Morpheus, he believes that I'm gonna say that he thinks that Toe is like the one, or the two, or whatever, and that he doesn't actually need guns.
That's true. He gave the whole "when you're ready, you won't need them" speech, and Toe bought into it.
Yeah. So I think he still does have the training, Toe, for guns and stuff, but it's not necessarily his primary thing.
Interesting.
So are we saying none of us are going to start, are we all going to have guns but not start with them? Is that the question? Is that what we're concluding?
I mean, I think we can also say we don't have guns.
I think they can come into play at some point, but I don't know. I mean, the thing is, when they're going to rescue Morpheus in the movie, Neo immediately goes to guns.
Yeah, because guns are very, we could say, we aren't inclined to immediately draw our guns up. But the second any kind of pressure comes out, it's going to just switch to a gunfight anyway.
Well, I think specifically Toe has, no moral stand. He doesn't care about killing random people because he doesn't trust anyone and he thinks everyone's an agent.
Yeah. You'd definitely be first to draw, which I think puts you at just a pretty big advantage to start. If we kind of I'm trying to imagine, we start off, we're all there. What does the first action look like?
Yeah. I mean, usually we try to figure out who would fight first. I don't know what the first interaction would be.
Well, I mean, Rule 51, act, don't react, right?
So who would what's his name? Damon?
Yeah. Oh, also Rule 62, the best defense is a good offense. Man, these really just keep coming, huh?
Yeah, so Damon would attack someone. Who would Damon attack?
I'm trying to figure out if there's any guidance here in these rules for that.
I mean, based on our moral standings, I think Toe would be the bad guy and Padawan Kenobi would be the good guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna show up in nice, elegant, stylish brown robes, and Chris is gonna show up in a black trench coat.
So here's the other question that we have to clear up actually before we decide who Damon's going to attack is, what are the chances that Damon shows up and he's hungry? Because if he is hungry, he has to go get a snack. It's in the rules.
And is a hot dog a sandwich? Will that satisfy him?
Well, it has to be more than a sandwich. So he could get a hot dog and some chips, and I think that would be okay. But you just can't have just the hot dog.
All right, let's do it this way. Let's figure, what are the odds? How hungry are we on average during the day? What amount of time during the day are we hungry?
My secret is
and also,
always
what
hungry.
amount of time are we hungry after we've traveled to New York City?
Well, is he from New York City or did he travel there?
I mean, I assume he's from Greece.
That's a pretty long, far trip.
I mean, I'd be hungry personally.
So really, it's the trip from JFK International Airport to the New York City. You're probably gonna eat. No, I don't eat when I get off. When I'm done with the flying, I don't eat.
Yeah, I'm not hungry at first. It's gonna be when I get over there. I'm man, I actually could go for something.
Nah, but you're gonna make it. So basically, from JFK to New York City, it's a good 45 minutes to Penn Station, based on the train there. So by the time you get out and you hit the big city, before you gone towards Central Park, you're already gonna be hungry. I think the odds are you're gonna stop on the way.
That's fair, actually. You're right. So I will
making it to Central Park from JFK after a flight without stopping for food somewhere in between is definitely doable, but I don't think it's the likelier of the two.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's doable for me, so I don't think it's doable for Damon either.
So you're thinking Padawan and Toe are in Central Park without Damon there?
I guess that's the question, right?
Yeah,
Is he showing up
we're gonna
late
get there
'cause he's
first.
getting a meal?
I think Damon's gonna be late. So really,
I also think that Toe has a good chance of just fighting random people because he thinks everyone's an agent.
So yeah, let's start off with I'm gonna say 60% chance. It's 60% chance that Damon is late because he's getting food. If Damon is there first, we've established that he goes first.
Yeah.
And we've decided it's slightly more likely that he attacks
probably
Toe.
Toe.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
I'm gonna do like 25% for Toe, 15% for Padawan, or 30-10, just as far as who we'd pick.
Yeah, that sounds fair.
All right, 30-10. All right, cool. So that's how likely those initial scenarios are going. So basically, for these episodes, what I'll do is we decide how likely it is for this event to happen, and then if that event happens, how likely is it that this fighter comes out on top, and then I multiply those percentages through to find out the actual, based on all the different possibilities, what are the actual odds of winning for each character. So let's talk about if we got Toe and Padawan fighting.
Well, one of the reasons why I brought up that Toe might be fighting random people is because he might like assault some random person or like a cop or something and end up getting arrested.
I don't know. The cops don't seem particularly effective against the Matrix people.
I mean,
That's
he's
just
not
a
a Matrix
dude, though.
person, though. He's just
Yeah,
a
that's the
random guy
problem.
that thinks he's in the Matrix.
Also, yeah, we are in New York City, so guns are kind of like would draw attention by the authorities.
Yeah, I think Toe has a very high chance of being arrested before the fight.
So that goes down as a loss.
Yeah, I'd put that down as
Probably.
like, yeah. So in this moment of time, like,
It's like a DNF.
yeah, it did not finish.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't give that too high a percentage, because like we could also finish the fight before you get arrested. If it's, some gunshots, the fight might be over by the time, the arrest happens. So I don't know. We'll just write off 30% of the time Toe just
gets arrested.
just murders a civilian and gets apprehended by the police before the fight starts.
So what are Padawan's chances of actually making it to the fight? Pretty high, I think.
Yeah, no, he's really by the book. If anything, he'd be there like 15 minutes early, like his whatever advice you imagine like a good parent giving is gonna be what Obi-Wan is gonna tell Padawan to do. So like preparedness, timeliness, cleanliness, like that's what these are gonna be the watchwords. So I'll be showing up clean shaven. I will not be showing up with a sandwich or in handcuffs.
You might just win by default if both of us don't show
right.
up.
The fight never gonna happen. Are Phil and Morpheus such flawed mentors that they could never get a person to a location?
Actually, wait, no. Damon will show up because, as mentioned, Rule 101 is go the distance. So he will get
Right.
there.
He'll just be
Yeah,
late.
he will get there.
It might just take him some time.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna do basically if you pick anyone that's not Padawan to attack first, I think then Padawan jumps into action because he would also be a noble protector type thing. Like that would motivate him to act. If you pick Padawan as your first target, he's not gonna act first. So like if you just get in your head to attack Padawan and that's the first person you decide to shoot, I think that's it for him.
Because he gets shot.
Yeah, because he gets shot.
Right. It's pretty easy cause and effect there.
But it seems not super like half the time. I don't know how often do you think you would pick me as a target?
I mean, I think. Or are you asking Ben as Damon?
No.
I'm asking
for
Toe.
Yeah.
Oh, Toe. I think Toe is kind of a wild card who he picks. I don't think it really matters. I think he just would basically go after anyone. Because in his mind, no one has been unplugged yet from the Matrix. So everyone's a threat.
Got it. All right. So what we'll do is I'm going to write off the 30% for getting arrested, and then I'll split the rest of it, which makes that 65-35 for me versus you. So if I make it through, if Padawan makes it through either by default because Toe is arrested or Toe shoots a different civilian and Padawan jumps in and shoots him, then we wait a few minutes patiently, because patience is a watchword of the Jedi, until
Damon rolls up, like wiping his mouth.
until
with a
Damon rolls
napkin.
up,
Yeah.
On
with a
full
napkin,
stomach.
patting his lips and doing that, and then we make contact. At which point I think I'm at a disadvantage, because at that point, like the act first still applies.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
The circling and ducking does draw attention to yourself.
So here's a question. What time of year is it? Because I've been to New York in the summer, and that never let him see you sweat thing might make him be a no-show.
Well, the thing is the sandwich bistro you're going to enter is going to be air conditioned.
Yeah, but I mean, like, If he hops in a cab or on the subway, like, it's gonna get warm.
So the thing is, like, you're gonna start circling, and like, yeah. Let's assume it's not a 90-degree day because we can't write off another do not finish for another 30% of the fight.
That's fair.
I mean, we could, but let's assume it's like a nice spring day where, like, you know, a prolonged fight. Yeah, you might have to go. You might have to go leave and dab. We're probably gonna sword fight, right? I imagine that's the honorable way for us, but we're for sure gonna sword fight.
Yeah, no question.
And assuming we have a similar level of sword training, assuming lightsabers translates. I think I have the advantage there because the thing about swords is big swords aren't really super practical.
No.
In real fights, swords are fragging heavy.
Particularly
if it's just like, you know, a random dude.
I mean, what's the lightest sword that you think or the heaviest sword that you think he'd be able to handle?
Well, it's not about being able to wield it. It's about being less wieldy than a weapon from a more civilized age.
Yes. I would guess it's sort of like a, you know, like a, whatever they are, like sort of like those swords you can kind of use with one or two hands.
Yeah, I imagine like a scimitar from like Aladdin, like one of the slightly oversized ones.
I was thinking like a Braveheart style, like not like full claymore, but you know, that kind of vibe.
Okay, yeah.
A big sword.
So I feel like a sword fight would be like 70-30. Is there anything that happens that's not a sword fight?
Probably not.
All right, so I've got that at 70-30 in my favor for the sword fight that develops if I make it past Chris. I like that.
That seems fair.
All right, other way around. If Chris makes it through, now can Chris evade the cops long enough for you to finish your sandwich?
How long?
I mean, I don't think it's unlikely.
How long do you think it'd take for you to eat?
It's tough to say because there's also a rule, what is it, 86? Every time it takes me a second to say what rule it is, by the way, it's because these rules were, of course, listed with Roman numerals for the numbers, and I have to convert LXXXVI into an actual number. Rule 86, the harder to get, the better to have. So he's probably going somewhere kind of fancy, actually. So it's going to be maybe like a sit-down lunch.
Oh, or no, it's gonna be the fancy local place that has like 2 staff and 300 customers.
Oh yeah, exactly. So he's gonna be in line for like an hour.
He's gonna probably try to find a Greek restaurant.
No. Remember, where to go?
A man is more than a sandwich.
No. Rule 29: beware of Greeks bearing gifts.
Oh yes.
It did come up.
Okay. All right. What's the aggregate on here of?
Wait, hold on.
Long sandwich.
He's gonna go get Chinese. Rule 39: duck.
Stop. All right, you two. Chris, help you two figure out what are you making it there?
I mean, I feel like
what are the odds you can evade?
I feel like Toe has I think he can evade the cops for at least a little while. I mean, I don't know. A sit-down meal is kind of a long time, though.
It's probably not actually a sit-down meal. I would say that, like, the assumption would be that they were supposed to all get there at the same time. So it'd basically be the time to go to a restaurant and get food and eat it.
And most Manhattan places are like, you know, you
pretty,
walk in.
Yeah, pretty quick.
Like they're like counter service. Like you just go and get it.
So we'll say 15-20 minutes.
Okay. I mean, that's not that long then, I guess. I would say maybe it's like a 50-50 whether he gets caught by the police before the fight starts.
Okay. 50-50 gets caught beforehand. And then odds are not great for
Damon.
For Damon.
For Damon at that point, right?
Probably not.
Yeah,
no.
I kind of just shoot you.
Yeah.
You have a gun, but you're just gonna be against it's gonna be like a quick draw fight, and you're gonna be against someone with a bit more, probably a few more guns than you.
Yeah.
Can a shield stop a gun? Because Rule 26 is your shield's your best friend. So it's not guaranteed that he has one, but it is more likely than not, I would say.
He has like a riot shield?
Oh yeah, he'd have a riot shield. I mean, even a regular wooden shield would stop a bullet.
Would it?
I actually don't know. Maybe? Probably?
Enough that you're not dead.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's something.
I guess.
And Rule 28 is keep your guard up, so...
I mean, I have more than one bullet, though.
We're not saying the odds are good.
It's not good, but there is at least a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, 90-10 maybe instead of just straight I get shot.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, what we could do is we could just give you a slightly better odds of getting there and make it a 50-50. It seems about even.
That seems fair, yeah. I like that.
All right, so now we're in the scenario where Ben eats the sandwich ahead of time and makes it there. Or, yeah, you get there and you're not hungry.
There was dinner service on the plane.
So we have basically the same exact fight but Chris as Toe is targeting you first.
And has much lower chance of being arrested.
Much lower chance of being arrested, yes. But you are acting first. You are acting fast.
That is true. I still think it's definitely weighted towards Toe.
75-25?
That's kind of what I was thinking.
I mean, yeah, because you're acting first. You're probably gonna try melee, right? You're not gonna go straight for the gun.
Probably, yeah.
So I mean, if you attack me with the
80-20?
sword, if you're close to me and you attack me with the sword, I don't really have a way of defending against the sword, unless I can just dodge it.
Probably can't dodge it.
Yeah, probably not. So
yeah, it's a big sword.
he's gonna think that he can dodge it because he thinks he's super fast, but he didn't actually work out or anything. So
I love the idea that he just goes into like the slow motion bullet dodge, but it's just like cut in half.
yeah.
It's just like a sword coming down.
Big sword.
Big sword. Yeah, so 75-25 feels right.
All right. Then it's me versus Chris. At this point, you've just defeated Ben, and then we're just kind of facing off against each other. This feels more 50-50, where it's like, I think you have a slight edge because you're better at guns. We're just going to have a gunfight without an element of surprise in it.
Yeah, I think so.
I'll do 55-45. 55-45.
Sure.
Then we have me versus Ben again. Is there anything different than our other fight?
I don't think so. I guess technically I'm slightly more tired. I might have to take a break to towel myself off a little bit.
All right, I'm gonna go instead of 70-30, I'm gonna go 71-29
Yeah.
in case you just tail off and I shoot
That
you.
seems fair. Yeah.
I like that you've memorized all these rules and can pull them at exactly the right moment.
Actually, I take it back because I would never shoot you while you're tailing off. That's not the Jedi way.
That is a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, you're an honorable. I would shoot him while he's toweling off. Toe would definitely do it.
Yeah. No question.
Okay, so now we're at Ben acts first, targeting me. So this one feels closer if the battle starts off this way. The problem is if it goes this way, Chris is going to have a huge advantage because we're going to be sword fighting and Chris is just going to shoot us both.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, pretty much.
So what I'm going to do is, I don't think it's going to make what we
It's just
do
that Chris
because I'm
wins.
just going to give
Yeah.
90% on. I'll do 90-10 in case I'm able to, if you want to wait for us to be done fighting, and then I have a slight chance of drawing a gun, but mostly you're just going to shoot me, and then 95-5 against Ben because that's even less likely to go in Ben's favor.
Seems fair.
Unless Chris goes and gets himself arrested while we're sword fighting.
Very possible. It depends on how many people are around us, like in Central Park.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm happy with these. I'm happy with these numbers. We've got numbers.
Yeah.
Number crunching time.
Well, I finally, for the first time ever, or maybe the second time ever, did not delete my spreadsheet where I track all these fight numbers, so I don't have to recreate the math and multiplications each time, so I can just fill them in as long as we stick to our general formula and get numbers that work.
Nice.
So, the percentages that go into... So, reminder, now we I have an overall chance for each of us to win combining all these scenarios. So, if it's 6% chance that me and Chris fight first, and a 65% chance I win that, and a 70% chance I beat Ben after that, those numbers get multiplied together for all the different scenarios. Alright, so the odds are, for Damon, the least likely to win, 27.7%. There are a good number of scenarios where you pull out ahead. Wait, never mind. That's not right. I swapped the 70-30 for one of our sword fights.
Oh,
So least likely to win, 24.7%.
perfect.
Damon, next up with a 32.1% chance to win is not the two. Toe.
Toe. He is the 2. His name is just Toe, though.
Yeah, it's just Toe. Toe the 2.
Yeah.
I'm just seeing Morpheus going, he is the 2.
And then with the rest of it, which is 43.2%, is Padawan Kenobi, with his mentor Obi Wan looking real smug on the sidelines.
I mean, he always looks pretty smug, to be fair. So it might not be related to this. It's just kind of his natural situation.
Would Morpheus have helped them not get arrested?
I don't think so. I think this is against the rules.
Yeah, I think Morpheus personality-wise would just like peace out. Like, oh, well, life is hard and things happen.
Yeah, it wasn't him.
He's lost to us now.
Let's go find the 3.
Morpheus isn't really big on saving. Does he save anybody in those movies? Like, does he even bother?
He gets captured and they save him.
Yeah, no, you're done. All right. Are all the numbers?
They are in the wheel. I'm just going to confirm with you. So, Morpheus was 32.1.
Yep.
Phil is 24.7.
Yep.
Obi-Wan is 43.2.
Correct.
Okay. Yes, I have the wheel, and it actually is pretty even.
All right, here we go.
Okay, here it is. Phil, Obi-Wan, Morpheus. Almost forgot his name. Here we go. Spin the wheel.
Spin the wheel of final determination.
Here we go. Come on.
Toe.
Oh,
he
yeah.
is the 2.
He is the
Toe.
2.
It's the 2.
Okay.
Oh man, even the photo you picked for the wheel has Obi-Wan's disappointed face on.
Yeah.
Failed another mentee, didn't you?
Okay, so I guess I gotta say how he wins, or how Toe wins.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So he's making his way to Central Park because he knows there's a fight going on, and he sees someone that he doesn't trust, so he punches them in the face, thinking that they're an agent, and a cop comes after him, but he runs because he is fast. I guess he's not that fast because he doesn't really train that much physically, but he is able to evade the cops. And by the time he makes it to Central Park, he sees that a fully fed Daemon is fighting a Padawan. They're already fighting each other. He's like, oh, two more agents. And he takes out his guns and shoots them, and they both perish. And just as they die, the cop catches up with him and arrests them. But he won the fight anyway.
I started blasting.
And that is Toe.
Fantastic.
Toe wins the fight. And Morpheus is the best mentor.
Woo! All right, let's move on to our Would You Rather, because that took a surprisingly long amount of time to get through. Ben, are you ready for Would You Rather?
Yes.
Would you rather be a skeleton or a vampire?
Skeleton. Technically, I am a skeleton.
Just an animated skeleton.
Oh, okay. Because I do have other bits
Halloween
now.
spooky stuff.
Yeah.
What is
gotcha.
the lore behind skeletons?
Well,
Necromancy.
They have bones and nothing else. Oh, wait, no. Can you ask it again?
Ben, would you rather...
No, the Chris's question.
What is the lore behind skeletons?
Well, as I understand it, the shin bone's connected to the knee bone, and the knee bone's connected to the thigh bone, and so on and so forth. Anyway, I forgot how the song actually goes.
Worth
right
it.
after I asked you to set me up for the joke, which maybe blunted the impact a little bit. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, you really gotta liven up the joints.
Hey.
that bone's connected to the other bone.
Yeah. What? How does? Okay, you know what? It doesn't matter. Point B: skeleton or vampire.
I feel like the vampire is way cooler.
It is a lot cooler, but it also puts a lot more constraints on you. Really, the only thing expected of you when you're a skeleton is you don't have skin or organs, and I can handle that. There's a lot of
That's
other
a pretty
like
big restraint.
well, but like there's a lot of like social pressure put on you as a vampire, right?
And not as a skeleton?
Well, but I mean, like you can't go out in the day because you'll get all burnt by the sun. You can't have garlic anymore, and I love garlic. And you gotta drink blood, and I don't know.
I mean, what can you do?
You can't see your shit in the mirror, which introduces new social preferences.
Right,
'cause
yeah.
Maybe your hair's a fucking mess.
How do vampires always have good hair? Because they can't use mirrors. Does someone else comb a vampire's hair for them?
That's why they gel it back so much, because
Oh, that's
they
easy. Yeah,
don't
you
know.
Can just, you can just kind of do that one blind. Anyway, skeleton, you can do whatever you want. You're just a skeleton.
Can you do whatever you want? I don't know.
I mean, yeah, why not? What's stopping you?
I mean, you might not be able to get a job in retail,
I'll
but
tell you what you can't do. You can't unlock your cell phone with your fingerprint.
what's facial? What about facial recognition?
Probably not.
Sorry, this only works on underlying bone structure.
You actually probably can't use a touchscreen at all, which isn't ideal. You need to get one of those little like finger covers that help you use a touchscreen better, or like a stylus.
Oh,
you carry
actually, yeah. I
around.
was about to say that's honestly kind of a deal breaker almost for me.
You can use a stylus. You get one of those styluses with like the little nub on the end.
Oh, that's true.
Just tuck that in your rib cage.
Yeah, I guess you can still wear clothes, so you can still
Yeah,
have
you can wear
pockets and
clothes.
stuff.
You can be a cool skeleton with a baggy shirt and a backwards baseball cap.
I've never imagined a skeleton wearing clothes before.
Not even a baggy shirt and a backwards baseball cap.
No.
Man, being a skeleton, I'm like, I'd rather be a skeleton than a human.
right? Like, don't gotta moisturize. Don't gotta worry about getting sunburned. It's all upside, dude.
Also, like, skeletons aren't like, well, you got to make sure you maintain yourself because you don't want to become a gross skeleton. But like a good clean skeleton is like, you can be pals with a skeleton.
Yeah.
I mean, you just take a shower like a normal person, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you ever need to hide somewhere, you just stand very rigidly in a science classroom.
Just let the student, whatever student in his job is to clean the skeleton, clean you.
Yeah, it's perfect. Just stay there and they'll clean you, and then you just head out.
And then you walk away.
Yeah, you're just like,
descend
thanks.
Thanks.
Pull on your baggy shirt and your backwards baseball cap.
And then like play your ribs of xylophone as you like dance out the room.
Yeah, exactly. See, it's all upside. Why can't I be a skeleton right now? Come on.
I don't think you'd be able to talk.
No, you couldn't. You couldn't say thanks. Give a big thumbs up though.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to get one of the voice modulators. You have to like have a type to voice thing.
Yeah.
That would be annoying.
I mean, logistically, I don't really know how the skeleton works in general.
But are we gonna draw the line at vocal cords don't let you talk? Because I imagine an animated magical skeleton would talk.
I mean, we could just say magic, because, like, technically the bones wouldn't be together.
Right, magic is... Technically, there's a lot of other things beyond just the bones not being together in this situation, dude. On a technical level, there are some other liberties we have to take with the living skeleton.
Yeah. I'm gonna say the skeleton. I want to say the skeleton can talk because I hate it that I feel like it's getting taken away from me if the skeleton can't talk.
Agreed. You're saying this because you want to be a skeleton and you don't want to have to change your
Yeah,
mind.
I do, and I don't want anything bad to happen to it anymore.
Yeah.
So my bias is going to be extreme from this point forward.
You know what? I agree with you. What are you thinking, Chris?
I want to be the vampire. Skeleton just sounds like a normal person.
Yeah,
That's
but
boring.
vampire sounds way worse.
What?
Vampire, you can be cool, and you can turn into bats. And maybe I don't want a reflection.
But I like Italian food and Mexican food, and those are full of garlic.
You can.
I don't think you could taste the food, Ben.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
fair. So,
You can't.
also can't really
as
eat.
a skeleton.
but I could still eat as a vampire, but wouldn't be able to eat my favorite foods. That's worse.
I'd rather not. I'd rather cut it out entirely than have this
Exactly.
tease.
No, I want to be the vampire. I'm like a night owl anyway, so I'm okay being out at night only.
You just gotta transfer from night owl to night bat,
Perfect.
Yeah.
and you're good.
Well, it sounds like Marcus and I are pretty squarely in Camp Skeleton, right?
Yeah. And you guys, everyone at home, you can subscribe to Camp Skeleton by going to our Patreon at www.patreon.com/absurdhypotheticals. And for just $1 a month, become a part of our Absurd Hypothetic Pals, which is now going to be the skeleton thing I said a second ago, but have already forgotten. Team Skeleton? What did I say?
Camp Skeleton.
Camp Skeleton. If you want to be a member of Camp Skeleton, that's where you do it. Just $1. There's bonus Camp Skeleton content all over that website, and you get access to all of it immediately. So many good things there. If you are using your bony fingers with no flesh on them to type up things on your cellular device, why don't the thing you type up be a good review for the show? Getting reviews helps grow the show, lets people who find it know that it is good so that they actually click through and listen to the dang thing. And if that's not working for you, if your thumbs are too tired, then you can also just tell your friends and family about us. If you use a fun fact somewhere and you get weird looks, or you just are very excited about it and you want to tell people about it, go do that and then tell them where you got it, and then more people can discover all the weird facts and things and stupid conversations that we have. You can also vent about the things we get wrong, where you can be like, oh my god, I was listening to these 3 dingleberries on this podcast, and they said it was better to be a skeleton than a vampire, and these are the 10 reasons why it's wrong. So you can do all that for free, which is awesome, and you should go and do that for your best skeleton pals. In any case, you can always join us next week, where we answer the following question. What if everything man made was made out of paper?